This video was sponsored by Enhance, NeoWatt, AWD, Elbilmek, Kempower and Bilkomponenter. Yo, what's up? We are at AWD. Finally, we're going to do a range test of this Deepal S05. It's all-wheel drive. It actually has a similar, or I'm not sure it's the same or similar battery and then maybe similar drivetrain as the Mazda 6e. Mazda has a joint venture with Changan, which is also here, Changan. So it has some similarities when it comes to how the software works, how the car works, kind of. But this is not a sedan. It's, I don't know, crossover, SUV. So yeah, we'll show you now. Yeah, that's a pretty cool feature here, which is that I'm gonna try to measure the battery capacity, but the after charging shows consumption, distance, and well, okay, this is nitpicking, but driving power, no. If we're talking about kilowatt hour, that's energy. Driving energy, and then accessory energy. Yeah, but it actually shows you that, but it takes this divided by that to get this, so it ignores that, but at least it shows it. So I'm probably gonna use this trip meter here, because the current trip doesn't show all the data. It shows time, but who cares about time, right? So yeah, I had to pump up the tires slightly, overinflate them. It's 2.9 bars in the door, in the door, but we overinflated by 10%, recommended by the tire manufacturer. So car scanner works here, but unlike the Mazda 6e, I could see state of charge and so on. Here I cannot see it. I tried all the various profiles, also tried the Mazda profile or the Deepal, they all show the same. But we can at least see power here and voltage, and also battery temperature. So yeah, get the popcorn. This weekend we're going to do 1,000 kilometer challenge. We will see if there's high delta between min and max. And also, yes, another thing, I asked Changan about this. The battery or state of charge below 10%, it drops really fast, just like the Mazda. But here, this car claim, when I Google about this, it's claimed to go as high as 200 kilowatt, but you have to be below 10%. So, okay, anyway, that will be covered in another episode. Let's start the test. But today we will do this short loop here to Strandlykkja and back again. That's a 66 kilometer loop to measure the consumption. And then I have to actually drive later tonight to finish the whole battery measurement and also to do the charging test. But before we start, I have to show you guys that this has the latest and greatest software. I think they actually updated it via USB. It was not even ready as OTA. So yeah, but I already found some glitches. For example, if you do this press and hold to change the shortcut keys here, you will see that it says finish H. They need to fix that, because when you go some other places, I don't remember where that was, maybe if press and hold here, you see, then it says finish. So, okay, but whatever, who cares about that, right? Only me as a programmer. Well, we're on the move, and what the heck, man? The auto steer slows down the curves. Yeah, okay, we might have to wait for it to accelerate up again. Well, it has the latest and greatest software, like I've shown you, but it tends to slow down in the curve, and then there's some weird stuff. It tends to just disengage and go towards a ditch. Okay, but I have to cruise at 126 to match 120 GPS speed. I even pumped up the tires, as you guys saw. Well, okay, let's see. I think I see it in 3.1, 3.2. They were at 3.8 only when I received the car. So, well, okay, whatever. Yeah, you see now it's actually slightly slower than what I want to cruise at. But okay, so far so good, right? We have to check the journey here. Yeah, and you reset. Okay, it bugs me, buddy. Okay, no more reminders. Yes. What the heck, man? What the heck is this? The curve is not even that sharp, man. What? And at least I looked all over the place. I haven't found a way to disable this feature. But of course it makes the result nicer because we're driving slower than we should right now. Okay, how can I handle mergers? Oh, well done. Yes, no weird stuff going on there. Wait. Why are you going so far to the right? Well, stay more in the middle. Yeah. You tend to pull a bit to the right. Okay, let me see. We have tailwind now. Consumption is 239 watt-hour per kilometer. We have a lot of wind from the south nowadays. So that means that consumption will be higher on the way back. But yeah, nice and warm today. 6 degrees Celsius. Spring is coming finally. Yeah, we're in the middle of March now. You see here that when we are just cruising, then it will try to use the rear motor most of the time, possibly because it's more efficient. Then if more power is needed, then it kicks in the front also. But then if we switch to sport mode, say I use eco mode, if you go to sport, then you will see that it will lock on all-wheel drive, so you will not want to do that. I'm going to go here and go back to eco mode. There you go. Wait a minute. You just notice something here. If you take this divided by that, you get this roughly, right? With some, okay, don't mind the slowdown. Holy shit balls. But okay. But this time I was moving all the time, so the accessory energy, not power. First I thought it was stationary energy. It seems to be HVAC or other things, right? Not sure. But this also went up. Wait a minute. The Mazda 6e, it has some weird trip meter thing, but it didn't show all this, or I don't know, maybe I didn't find it. I wonder if the Mazda was not showing all the consumption, if it was only counting this and it didn't show this, right? That could explain why I was getting weird net capacity numbers when I tried to measure it, and also consumption number seems to be weird. And maybe the car was in fact not as efficient as I thought, because it excluded this from the consumption. Sneaky. But yeah, I forgot to point out that this car has no instrument cluster. Everything is shown here in the big screen. It's nice, 15-inch roughly. And you also have a relatively big head-up display here. You can see the speed and all the necessary stuff. So actually, I'm not really missing that screen over here. As long as you get everything in the big screen here, then that's fine. You don't have to move your eyes back and forth between this, and this, and you know. Okay, the result of the test. Interesting. Yeah, it's not 250 watt-hour per kilometer. You guys will take these two, add them together, and then it becomes 257 watt-hour per kilometer. Okay, distance seems to be correct. I need to measure it later. But okay, let's try the 90 test then. Right now we cruise at 95 on the speedo, 95, 96, too much, 90. And then yeah, this is nice. When you navigate to a point, it says how many percent you will arrive with, 58%. Well, I have 68 now. I'm not sure how accurate it is. Okay, go. Wait, go, there. Let me see, can we see it later? Yeah, see that. Oh, nice. Oh, it even shows here. We have the remaining distance and time, and then it also alternates and show it there. Wow. Huh? Other cars, watch and learn. Okay, look at this. A car just passes me, shows on the screen there. And then it starts showing distance to the car in front. Oh, what the heck, man? That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna tell the sniper in the helicopter above, okay? The Volvo is 125, 133 meters ahead of me. Yeah. Wow, that's cool. Let's check the weight of the car. Front axle. Oh. 1080. Oh, nice. Whole car. 2180. Okay, not too bad. LFP battery, all-wheel drive. Well, we're now at the turnaround point where we navigated to. So originally the car claimed 57% at arrival. We actually arrived at 60%, and the strange thing is that the navigation claims 59. What? We are here now. All right, this time not 175 watt-hour per kilometer, but 182 watt-hour per kilometer if you count the accessory power also. Yeah, all right, all good. Now I need to drive it low. Yeah, I need to measure what the real battery capacity is. All right, we've been driving for a bit. We are actually now at the airport. We are down to 35%. I'm gonna go pick up Pavel. He's been parked outside my house. There, yeah. So I told him come in a Deepal. Yeah. He permanently moved to Poland. And yeah, I don't know. Wait, how do I unlock? There. Yeah, Pavel, welcome back. You know, you permanently moved to Poland, but now you permanently moved back.
Yeah, I'm back permanently.
It's funny, man.
Oh, this is nice. This is nice. Thank you for picking me up.
Yeah, I'm doing a range test right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, cool. And I just need to drive the distance to go low on the battery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then I might as well go pick you up.
Yeah, nice. So, how many percent do you have left?
35.
Okay.
Yeah. How was Poland?
Very nice. Relaxing.
Warmer than here?
Yeah, a little bit warmer. You know, some few small leaves on the trees and yeah.
Oh wow, already?
Yeah. It have been up to 16 degrees for 1.5 weeks over there.
Yeah, so Pavel has an apartment in Gdansk.
Yeah,
that's where you are from, right?
Yeah, or in Danzig, as you shall say in German, since you are third German.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, now let's go back to back home first.
Yeah,
pick up Pavel's car. Yeah. Okay, back home. So yeah, we can see it better now. You know, this color reminds me of the first ever car I had, Renault 5 from 1986 or something. It also had this teal color. Yeah, but anyway, the test is not done yet. I'm just here to get the kilometers done. So Pavel, he's gonna go home now. He will permanently move back home to his wife. Oh shit! Rust! Yeah, I didn't drive this car, it's fossil. So, okay, well, he's gonna use the brakes. Oh, look at that. Look at the Brembo brakes. How well he keeps it. It's nice and shiny. Okay. What? Oh, you for the kids. Okay. Thank you very much. Huh? Hot dog.
Yeah.
And okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. So yeah, I haven't. What the heck, man? What the heck is this shit? Boys, dude, I need to set up camera in the perimeters here, man. Look at that. But Sviker, he's driving fossil. Okay, actually, Pavel here still has the Model Y performance. It's just crazy mother trucker. Yeah. Yeah, MX-5. Look at the license plate. MX-5, yeah. Go schnell. Okay, but yeah, I was gonna say that. I mean, I still have the airport shuttle or airport parking. Pavel uses it. He's VIP, of course, a VVIP. So maybe I can let other people also park here, also when I'm around here. No, not in Thailand, not permanently moved to Thailand. Just that you have to email me, and then if I'm not available, then you can always use Bolt or Uber. Yeah, it's not that expensive. Actually, I think Uber is even cheaper than Bolt around here. Around 150 NOK only to get to the terminal. It's just a 7-minute drive there. It's easy money for the taxi drivers. Or I can shuttle you, yeah, if I'm available. But okay, anyway, I need to move the sheet and then proceed with the range test. This auto. Okay, we're going kind of low now, 15%. But you see here, if I blink, it will blink there, right? If I brake, it will brake there in that little car icon. But what the heck is this? Afterburners? What the heck is that shit? But when you just floor it like this, nothing happens. You need to be in the cruise control, and when you then floor it, then the afterburner comes on. Oh man, freaking Chinese people. Oh, we're down to 9%. We still have to drive 7.5 kilometers. I hope we have enough juice. Okay, we're back home with 6% left. And since charging, 62.7 plus 2, 65.4 kilowatt hour only. But then how much do we have? The 6% if it's non-linear. Well, I need to pick up the kids from the kindergarten in around 5 minutes. Yeah, I just want to rinse the car first. Okay, it's almost 9 in the evening. We are down to 4%. The car's been sitting in the garage. This is what we consume so far. I try to keep the garage nice and warm so we don't cool down the battery, because I'm going to do a charging test afterwards. Okay, maybe I'm gonna try to bring it down to around 1% then. Okay, I've been driving in a circle now. We are down to 2%. But I noticed something here, which is that the delta between the max and min cell is not that high. Wait, wasn't that higher on the Mazda? Okay, maybe this battery is in better shape. Oh. Well, we have the supercharger Reben. So 64.8 kilowatt hour plus the 4 kilowatt hour accessory, and 1% left. That yields 69.5 kilowatt hour. Ooh, this has more net capacity than the Mazda. Oh no, but the Mazda, I never saw this. I bet I was only calculating this. Sneaky. All right, we're charging now at 1%. Getting, it's ramping up. Do we see 200 kilowatt? This charger can supply more than 600 amps. The battery should be warm enough, 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, 70 is going up, it's going up. Wait a minute, look at that. Now we're cooking. Oh yeah, game over. 195 kilowatt. Noise. 500 amp. Wait, is this car capped at 500 amp? Oh yeah, okay. All right, we're doing the charging test now. I need to find out if this has the same charging curve as the Mazda 6e. It seems to be the same battery. Okay, anyway, about the range. So yeah, based on 69.5 kilowatt hour, which is probably the true net capacity, not the 64.6 I got earlier in the Mazda 6e, I see that we get well, okay range. I mean, it's still not the full spring yet, still kind of cold outside. So yeah, but the car doesn't seem to be the most efficient car in this class. Model Y is probably more efficient, but I mean, yeah, at least it's not that thirsty. So it tries to run it on the rear motor and save energy when it's possible, and then yeah, it seems to be okay. But this is probably one of the cheapest all-wheel drives in Norway. For 450k now, you can get with winter wheels and fully spec'd goodies. Yeah, I mean, overall, a nice car inside. Space-wise, seems to be quite good. We need to test the banana box. But software might be the weakest point here. Once again, when I test cars from the east, then this seems to be the case. Okay, anyway, that's gonna be it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching, and talk to you later.